welcome to a new video, and in this one I want to take a more detailed look at something I mentioned in last week's weekly roundup, which is the latest update for Automobilista 2, and over the Easter weekend I've managed to find some more time to spend with it and start looking at it in a bit more detail. So I wanted to cover basically what's in the update. Now, one important thing to note is this effectively is the release for the 1 year anniversary of the initial early access release, which was March the 31st, 2020. And Razer had actually said they wanted to try and do a huge update as part of this one. But one of the things, the patch notes, which I will link in the description down below, mention is that some of the features and developments they'd hoped to get done in time for this didn't quite make it. So whilst this update is not as big as they'd wanted it to do, obviously we are still going to get all of that material, and that's going to be coming to the game in the coming weeks and months, is effectively what they say. But it's still got a good amount of stuff in it. So in terms of content-wise, what we've basically got is we've got some new layouts for the historic Jacarepagua circuit. I don't know. Jacarepagua. I don't know how you pronounce that. My apologies for utterly murdering it. But one of the South American tracks has had some new layouts to its historic version. Just look for the correct way to spell it in the patch notes, okay? And we've got a new historical class in there, the Formula Retro Generation 2, which also features the, let's be perfectly honest, ludicrously famous, if to a large degree, mainly for its livery than anything else, but it's a damn good looking livery, so I can't blame people for that, which is the Lotus 79, the first ever, probably true ground effects F1 car. So it's a biggie, and it's a good class to have in there. It's quite enjoyable. I must confess that so we get two cars in Formula Retro Gen 2, the Lotus 79 and a generic Razer created one. And I've got to be honest, having spent a bit of time driving the two of them back to back, I actually prefer the Razer one over the 79, which is probably some kind of heresy saying that, I know, but personally, yeah, I preferred their made-up one. But there we go. Your mileage may differ. If it does, please feel free to let me know down below, but don't hate me for preferring that one over the 79. There's been a lot of physics tweaks and updates that have come as part of this update as well. The main one has been around the limited slip differentials, and basically they've reduced driveline friction levels, which has improved the performance of the LSD driven cars, so you get better drivability and slightly higher top speeds off of that, because that has then changed the default preload and the ramp angles for the majority of cars. What they do recommend is that you reset any of the setups you've done on cars that have a limited slip differential, because they're not going to respond well to it. We've also had a change to the championship mode. So up until now you'd only been able to run one championship at a time, and part of the tweaks getting ready for the upcoming custom championship feature, which we do know is coming, and Razer have talked about that a lot in the past, is you can now actually have up to 4 championship seasons in progress any one time, which is really good. So there's a lot more flexibility in that. And if I then do a quick skip through some of the other bits and pieces that we've got, so some tweaks to the UI and HUD have come along, some tweaks around AI have happened, loads of changes in addition to the ones I've talked about around friction levels have occurred in the physics and force feedback model, including some of the torque steer has been toned down a bit. changes to engine torque and power curves to suit the new frictional model within the drivetrain, tweaks around all of the cars, tweaks to the AI, a lot of tweaks on tracks, mainly around the road meshes and reducing noise from those, as well as some art passes around those, which is good to see. Improvements on the level of detail settings for wheels and tyres on open wheel cars has happened as well, to better show transitions and to make it look a bit better and not quite so odd, and a few other vehicle tweaks, mainly cosmetic ones. So it is a big update, being perfectly honest, despite the fact that it's not as large as Razer would have liked for this first anniversary of the early access release. I'm pleased with it. I still really like Automobilista 2. I like what they've done with the Madness engine and the way that they've worked with it. I personally, and I've said this a number of times before, I think they have, as a studio, done a better job with the Madness engine than I've seen SMS do with it, which is a shame for the Project Car series, but really good for the Automobilista series in that regard. And it just pushes Automobilista 2 that little bit further forward. And, while it's not ready for a console release yet, I mean, if they were to push this out on console right now, it would get crucified for the lack of features more than anything else, particularly with regard to single player. There's not a lot to do. The championship mode, whilst it's there and it's improving month on month pretty much, it's not well rounded enough for a console release, in all honesty, and I think they need to finish it on PC before they even consider porting it over to console. But they have done and continue to do an absolute cracking job with the Madness engine, and I still really like Automobilista 2, and I like it more every time they tweak it, because it gets that little bit better every single time they put out another update, and that's pretty much every single month. So let me know what you think of this update to Automobilista 2 in the comment section down below, and what you hope to see from it in the future. If you've enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when new content gets uploaded. Thanks very much. Take care.